Okay, so first focused. So if we talk about the parts of brain, if you see this structure, okay, in your book also given. Okay, so mainly the brain is consist of three parts. Okay, forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Okay, forebrain consists of further parts which is cerebrum, thalamus, hypothalamus. Okay, and pituitary gland also included in it, but the parts are only three. Okay, and if we talk about the midbrain, okay, it is the conduction between forebrain and hindbrain. Okay, hindbrain has further parts, pons, medulla and oblongata. Okay, so oblongata you have to read about it them further, okay, in detail. Spinal cord we left for this time. So first, if you see first structure, I hope you will read already, but if you are not reading, then after that you can read. So forebrain, okay, one main thing is there, that olfactory lobes. Okay, sometimes questions also asked in your exam that it is uh, capable of doing the sense of smell. Okay, so this is the main characteristics of this, and this is the structure. Okay, olfactory bulb here is found here. Okay, and other parts also there, but they are just for you can say that other parts also brain in their cerebellum, spinal cord is attached with it. So main thing what you have to understand in this, these are things. Okay, motor cortex and etc. If you read the chapter already, okay, you can understand well. These structures are for the mainly purpose of the transfer of signals, etc. Okay, so if you talk about the brain, okay, one thing I forgot to tell you that this is the first thing, okay, of the human brain is highly developed, as it is said. Okay, largest animal, it has the average approximately weight about the 30-50 grams. Okay, so it is made up of 1000 billion neurons. Okay, the brain is placed and well protected in the cranial cavity. Okay, this is the cranial cavity in which it protects. Okay, or brain box also called of skull. Okay, so outermost covering, or you can say that brain is protected inside the cranial cavity. Sometime question also coming. Okay, so and it is protected by the three protective membranes. Okay, membranes covering called meninges. Okay, meninges which continue backward on the spinal cord. These are pia mater. Okay, then pia mater is here innermost, very thin, tough, and if you say that highly vascular membrane. Okay, second one is arachnoid. Some their words are difficult, but you have to understand them. Okay, thin, delicate middle layer and non-vascular it was. And durameter. Okay, durameter means outermost thick non-vascular tough membrane. It was membrane. Okay, so one thing is that you have to understand that this type of question can be asked, okay, in your exam also. So you have to understand it well. So now we talk about the forebrain. Okay, so if we see the structure, okay, forebrain consists of second part which is cerebrum. Okay, two hemisphere separated by a cerebellar fissure. Okay, whenever separation occur is like that, it we see here, it's called as a fissure. Okay, so it has two parts. You already see it, left and right it has. Okay, so longitudinal fissure is here, frontal lobe also. Mainly you have to also understand about these lobes. Okay, sometimes question also asked in this. So whenever one more thing you have to understand, then when you see the after when we go to spinal cord, then I will tell you about that. So frontal lobe, okay, parietal lobe, uh, and occipital lobe. Okay, so you have to understand these things because these are the important terms which can be asked in your exam, in which part it was found. Okay, like that questions will be found. So these are the left cerebellar hemisphere, right side is right called. Okay, and cerebellar veins and arteries covered by uh, arachnoid. Okay, arachnoid, which we read till now that it is a thin delicate middle layer. Okay, and longitudinal fissure and frontal lobe. So these are the lobes which you have to understand uh, and read about them. Okay, because some questions also found and formed from this. And sometimes question also asks the four lobes, okay, which is divided into this. First is frontal, second parietal, third is occipital, and the fourth one is called temporal lobe. Okay, figure also given in your book also 9.5, in which you can see easily. Okay, one time you start reading, okay, it was not so tough. Sometimes students think that it is tough, but if you go part by part, okay, one by one, if you go, you will understand. And practice, you have to daily you have to do more practice about it, okay, then you will be understood well. So the dancing pain is like that. If your brain gets so excited that your body start to release two the hormones, okay, serotonin and endorphins. Okay, these are your body natural opiates that makes you feel happy and alive. Okay, if you like chocolate, and if you, it is also called as it secretes, it helps in the secretes of endorphin hormone in our body. Okay, so you feel very light and happy. And suppose you like something, okay, and there are some other food material also like chocolates, etc., okay, which releases these help in release of these type 2 hormones. Okay, that's it makes you happy. And this type of structure you can see that. Okay, these are not you have to go in detail because it is not for your exam. Okay, these are just which part help. Okay, whenever you do something, which part helps you, it's like that. Now we move to the spinal cord. Okay, spinal cord begins from medulla and extends till lumbar region. Okay, you have to understand this. And can you tell me that where the spinal cord is found? And what do you understand by the spinal cord? If you can see the structure also here. Spinal cord. Yes. Is a structure like that, but as for a common person, if I ask that question, okay, it is mainly sometime called that your backbone. Okay, some people is thinking about the backbone till extent, which extent like that. Okay, backbones considering to be a spinal cord, but it is not true. Okay, it is the vertebral column. Okay, as cranial, as you read about the cranial. Okay, it's the protective covering inside which brain is found. Okay, this is the misconception which you have to clear. And this spinal cord is found inside the vertebral column. Okay, so which seen in our body. Okay, backbone, and sometimes is called that is it is spinal cord, so it is not a spinal cord. Okay, it is the vertebral column inside which this spinal cord is found, and till it extends only till here. Okay, lumbar region, from cervical to thoracic and lumbar region, these region is correct. And then a circle, and this other region is not this is not included in the this is spinal cord. Okay, it extends only till here. One question is asked in your SC exam that the structure about the transfer section of spinal cord. Okay, it's sometimes asked when you are telling about your brain. Then I want to share with you, but the picture are not available at the time. So transfer section of spinal cord. Okay, if you see that outermost part is it's the whitish structure and innermost is gray. Okay, so this is the difference. If you talk about the difference between the brain structure and the structure of a spinal cord. Okay, in brain, when you read about it in cerebrum part, okay, so the folds, okay, which is called gyri and grooves, is called sulci. Okay, increase the surface area to accommodation more neurons, hence believed to have more intelligence. The inner portion consists of axons of neurons which is white in color. Okay, hence called it is a white matter. Okay, the two the cerebral hemisphere are separated from each other by a very deep groove known as cerebral fissure. I tell you about it. The two hemispheres is called are held together by, okay, these are called corpus callosum. So you have to read about it. So outermost region in this, what you can write in your answer if it is asked, The outermost region of that spinal cord is white, whereas in the brain it is filled with the gray matter. Okay, these are just opposite with each other. Okay, when you see a transverse section of a brain and whether you see of a spinal cord, so this is the difference. Okay, when you read through a chapter, you can understand well. Then, if we talk about the functions of spinal cord, okay, it provides pathway for conducting impulse to and from the brain. Okay, it mainly conduct the impulses and center for spinal reflexes. And when you read about the spinal reflex actions, you will understand more well the functions of spinal cord, because our brain has to be more function. If you see that our brain is very busy organ of our body. Okay, as the heart we read about it, so it always has to do some work, but sometimes the situation for helping, you can say that the spinal cord is helps the brain. Okay, sometimes when you touch a very hot plate, okay, you suddenly just back your hand. Okay, this function, this reflex is done by the spinal cord. So for a brain, okay, you have to, if you understand, you can make a chart like a structure, as then you read one by one, then you can understand very well. Okay, because we have very much, not much time, so I have to just briefing these things. Okay, you have to read, and if you find any difficulties, then you can ask me. So if we talk about the central nervous system, it consists of brain and spinal cord. When we talk about the brain, okay, it has the forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. Okay, three parts it was. Okay, and if we talk about one first part is olfactory. Okay, this is the for the smell whenever you make. Okay, cerebellum and diencephalon. Okay, cerebellum has the four parts. Okay, four lobes it was. Okay, so you have to understand it: frontal lobe, okay, parietal lobe, occipital lobe, and the temporal lobe. Okay, four lobes you have to understand. When we read about the hindbrain, okay, so it consists of three parts: pons, medulla, cerebellum. Okay, their functions, etc. You have to read. Okay, you can easily understand their functions, etc. Questions we will do in revision classes. Then I talk about the cranial nerves. Okay, you have to not go in detail. This is just a structure of your brain. Okay, so it has the cranial nerves, a different type of their functions. Here, this is the olfactory nerves. Okay, which help in smelling, and optic nerves are there. Okay, so different types of nerves are found. If you count their number, they are found in 12 pairs. So in exam, I see one time that there's one question is coming sometime. So cranial nerve is found in 12 pairs. Okay, so this is important for you. Not much so go in detail. And two types of nerves are there. One is cranial, and second one is spinal nerves. Okay, so when we talk about the spinal nerves, it is total in 31 in number. Okay, not much go in detail. You have to just write it or somewhere and note it down, so you can understand it well. That when we talk about the spinal nerves, it's cervical nerves and thoracic nerves, lumbar nerves. Okay, these are not coming in your exam. You have to just understand that they are total in number 31. Sometime ask question. So now we move to the nervous system. Okay, peripheral nervous system we have to understand. So this is a chart which can help us very well when we talk about the nervous system. So many students are confusing about the structure. When we talk about the central nervous system, brain, okay, so both this is brain and one is spinal cord, that much. When we talk about the peripheral nervous system, it consists of all the other nerves which present in our body. Okay, if you see structure also. So this is the difference indication that this is the extension of, okay, nerves system found in our body. So when we talk about the peripheral nervous system, it is, you will already know that it is two types: autonomous and somatic nervous system. Autonomous means communicates with internal organs and glands. Okay, their functions we read later. So when we want to understand that exactly what is autonomic nervous system, it only communicates with the internal organs and glands. Okay, then somatic nerves. Okay, soma means body, so it communicates with sense organs and voluntary muscles. Okay, from it only communicate with our sense organs mainly and our voluntary muscles. Okay, so this is also two types: somatic and para sympathetic. Sorry, sympathetic and parasympathetic. Okay, so its work is arousing. Okay, it when I go through in the later class, okay, I told you about their functions in detail. It is calming in nature. Okay, for this time you can just understand like this. Then when we talk about the somatic nervous system, it is also to accept sensory. Okay, and is afferent nervous system, also called as, it is responsible for the sensory input. Okay, mainly sense organs, with whatever signals are given by this sensory nervous system. Then when we talk about the motor afferent, okay, which have to work, or the you can say that area which have to work to the signal passed by this sensory or sense nervous system. It is also called as afferent nervous system. It has the motor output. Okay, motor output means the muscles which have to work. Now we go through in detail of the peripheral nervous system. Okay, as its first part is somatic nervous system. We read already about it. First, I show you its function, how it function. Okay, suppose some signal is sent by a brain, okay, to the medulla oblongata. It mainly concerned with the our spinal cord, okay, segment. Then it passes the signal to the spinal cord, okay, then for nerves and from sensory neurons. Okay, so it coming back to also, okay, from nerves to medulla oblongata to brain. Okay, whatever action is needed for that reaction. Okay, soma means is a body, it's related to our body. Okay, then when we talk about the its function, okay, somatic nervous system first is controls all voluntary muscular systems and controls sensory impulses also. Okay, so these two are the main function of it. Then when we talk about the autonomic, as the name suggests, autonomic nervous system, okay, uh, it is, you can say that unconditioned also nervous system, which work by its own. Okay, we have no any if you say right on it. So if you see, suppose, okay, uh, our blood pressure is going to be low here. Okay, now our heart blood pressure is going to low. This is just for example. Okay, so what it do, cardiac regulatory center, okay, it is medulla. If you want to understand, cardiac regulatory center, also called as, this is the main center which is known as the medulla part, okay, of the brain. So it passes the signal from heart to this medulla, and it passes to the motor pathway. Okay, after this it passes the signal and it works very much. Okay, it passes the signals to our heart and it beats so much fast, okay, to just overcome to this low bp. Okay, so this is the activity happen in our autonomic nervous system. When you read through in detail, you will be understand well. Then it consists of also, when we talk about this autonomic nervous system, it also consists of two parts: sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system is stimulated by adrenaline hormone, okay, and it helps in emergency situations. Okay, we already discussed about in the last class also about the adrenaline hormone. Okay, it mainly stimulates our sense organs and our body parts, okay, to overcome in any emergency situation. Okay, so this hormone is stimulated by the sympathetic nervous system. Actually, what happened in this, okay, first we read, I just told you about the parasympathetic also, uh, brings to the body back to normal after abnormal situation. Okay, so it prepares us for the abnormal situations or emergency situations, sympathetic, and the name suggests para means, okay, parasympathetic brings to our normal situations. Okay, so you cannot say that these are the vice versa of each other. Instead, you have to say that they are supporting, okay, with other functions, or they have the combined type of functions in our body. Okay, uh, if you see sympathetic system, okay, mainly it has the different functions in your book also given. Okay, that if you see that dilate pupils, okay, inhibit salivation, okay, when you are in too much anger, okay, saliva secretion also stops, okay, and your if you say that peristaltic function, if you see that, and its increation, these situations are come overcome, okay, stimulate glucose production and release. So it what it said that when you are in too much stress, it can lead to be the diabetes disease also, okay. It is the thing which you have to not much be in your interest stress conditions, okay. Secretion of adrenaline and norepinephrine, when you read about the kidney you understand it, this function already, okay. Ephedrine and norepinephrine hormones. So this is the main thing, okay, when we talk about the sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic system, what we got, just vice versa of these conditions, okay. When you occur in an emergency situation, then after that, okay, so after some time, parasympathetic system is work, okay. Parasympathetic function is work, and it whatever things, suppose it inhibition, it promotes, okay, whenever it stimulates it inhibition, okay. That's vice versa of this sympathetic system. Because of this, you can understand that they have to work with each other, okay, both the systems. So overall nervous system, if we talk about, okay, uh, comprises in this chart. So if you understand it, and you can easily uh, answer in any question if whenever asked in the exam. So central nervous system is the body's master control unit, as you know. It consists of spinal cord, brain stem, and brain. So spinal cord, as you said, that are columns of nerves between the brain and peripheral nervous system. So in brief, if we define spinal cord, it is said to be a column of nerves between the brain and peripheral nervous system. Then brain stem connects the brain to the spinal cord, and brain divided into three parts: the hindbrain is the lowermost part, the midbrain, and the forebrain. Okay. Now we move to the peripheral nervous system. In this system, okay, peripheral nervous system, our body linked to the outside world, okay, of through our environment or our environment. So these are also two types: the autonomous nervous system and the somatic nervous system. So autonomous nervous system, what it do, it regulates involuntary bodily processes, okay, involuntary body processes, including heart rate, okay. You cannot stop your heart rate with your own, okay, pollen, and including respiration, digestion, and pupil contraction operates automatically without conscious direction, okay. You are not giving any conscious direction to these processes, these life processes taking place in your body also, okay. So you are not giving any conscious direction to them. But when we talk about the sensory nervous, somatic nervous system, it carries sensory information from sensory organs to the central nervous system and release motor or movements. Okay, commands to muscles control voluntary movements. Okay, so these are the movements which is known as the voluntary movements. So questioning, answering we will do in the revision section whenever happen. So this is also autonomous system also divided into two parts, which we read already: sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, sympathetic means prepares the body for action and stress. This is called fight or flight. Okay, suppose there is some mess happen or fight happen between two people. Okay, so it depends on you. You go for fight or just flight away from that situation. Okay, so this is the condition which is bring about that our sympathetic nervous system. Okay, so parasympathetic system helps us to calm the body and helps the body to conserve energy. Okay, parasympathetic means when you are in relaxing mode, suppose you eat too much and now your body needs relax, and that type of situations, in that situation helps the parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, so these all activities are uh, controlled. Whatever you think is just controlled by this our nervous system. Okay, so this is a system which you have to use it. Okay, the system has not to be system is made of for you. Okay, you are not made for the system, this nervous system. So you have to use your brain, and you can make it foolish. Okay, suppose you are not studying now, so you can just start at least for 10 minutes study. Okay, and you just say to your brain that we are just sticking to the book for this only 10 minutes. When you start reading a book, you are not complete in 10 minutes, and your mind also forget that, and you can go for 15 half an hour like that. Okay, so you start reading, so you will understand how you can make fool of your brain. So these are the questions which we read in the whenever other classes come. So reflex actions. Okay, so reflexes or relax actions also in your ISC syllabus, so we have to include reflex actions. Or reflex actions are involuntary, almost instantaneous, okay, movement in response to a specific stimulus. Okay, reflex action in many ways, you understand. Okay, when you touch a hot plate, and if a pin is just, if you say that sticky on your body, so you can just move your feet or etc. So these are the condition are known as reflex action. Okay, so these are also two types. Okay, reflex actions can be of two types. First is natural, which is called unconditioned, and acquired conditions. Okay, maybe question asked in your exam also, their difference 1 or 2 marks it can be asked. Okay, so when we talk about the unconditioned reflexes, these are inborn. Okay, unlearned, unconscious response. Okay, and brought away about by a stimulus directly. Okay, and when we talk about the acquired or conditioned reflexes, these are acquired, learned, conscious response brought about a condition. Okay, unconditioned reflexes. Okay, unconditioned reflexes, we already uh, talking about them, that if you just touch a hot plate, okay, you suddenly goes back to your hand, and bring back to your hand. And when we talk about the conditioned reflexes, okay, suppose you are driving and suddenly some object is coming in front of you. Okay, so you just put a brake, sudden brake. So this is the condition which is called conditioned reflexes. And suppose when we talk about the reflex action and conditions reflexes, the best example is given on your book also, that was given scientist Avi Pavlov. Okay, Pavlov experiment. I forgot to bring the pictures of that. I'm just telling you in brief that experiment. Okay, that experiment is about the conditioned reflexes. Okay, so what is the example of that? Um, a dog, his pet dog, it was. Okay, he is doing something other experiment, but eventually he thought about it. Okay, when he rang a bell in front of the dog. Okay, he does not salivate. Okay, he does not show any response of to the bell. Okay, of ringing to the bell. When he put some food or meat in the front of him. Okay, he just starting salivate. As you know that the dog whenever see something like that food or something interesting which he likes, okay, it starts salivating. Okay, so what he do experiment. Okay, before giving any food to that dog. Okay, or you can say that the meat item or etc which loves dogs. So he just rang a bell first. Okay, he just rang a bell first, then he give the food. Okay, so one time what condition is coming, that after, then dog is thinking, his condition reflexes in his mind is kept that now whenever rang is bell. Okay, bell is rang, sorry, the food is given to me. Okay, so he starts salivating. One day what he do, Pavlov do that, he just rang the bell and not give any food to the dog, and he still say, he just collect that amount of salivate also. Okay, saliva of the dog, the amount, it is the same amount. Okay, after which he get the food, and not getting the food after that. So this is the example of conditioned reflexes. Okay, so these are the acquired, learned, and conscious response giving to us. Okay, this is brought about a condition. Okay, condition in that experiment is a bell. Okay, whenever bell rang, then it gives the food, and the dog is start salivating. So this is the examples, and you when you read in your chapter you go through it. Then this is the if you say the pathway of reflex arc. Okay, reflex arc also given in your book. Mainly reflex arc means the shortest way. Okay, shortest way to pass the impulse. Okay, suppose your if I have to come to the Kosi, and there is any short route of by road, then we can use it. Okay, so this is the if you say in the example of this stimulus, suppose brain has to pass some impulses. Okay, so it try to give it from a sorted route, okay, to the our body. Suppose when we talk about other things in your this chapter, okay, suppose he have to pass some signal to the heart, okay, which is close to the our brain instead of spinal cord. So our heart just go through it. Okay, so these are the structures when we talk about the reflex arc. Okay, from this stimulus, when pin is just come into our contact, okay, so receptor on our skin, okay, it bring the sensory neurons to give to the sensory neurons, okay, and these relay neuron will be passed through suddenly, okay, and a motor neuron will carry it soon as to the effector or muscle, okay, in which the pin is stimulus, okay, a stimulus pin is there. So these are the called reflex action. Reflex arc means the shorted route to find by the these neurons, okay, to carry the impulse, any impulse or masses, okay, to the effector or muscle. Okay, sometimes you can also feel that when you touch the hot plate, you are not feel uh, very much hot at the time, and before it you just suddenly back your hand. Okay, after some time you just realize that you touch a hot plate. Okay, at the time, at fixed time you cannot feel that, because these action are of a millisecond and not for a second also, then you can can't understand if you don't think it very much deeply. Okay, because your brain also not start stopping, but it just delay about the point milliseconds. Okay, these all conditions are done by our spinal cord, spinal nervous system. So this is the pathway when we talk about the reflex arc. Okay, these are some key points which you have to also note it down for writing it well, okay, in your exam. So if question asked about it, first a stimulus. Okay, stimulus can be a pain or any hot plate or etc. Okay, then it goes to the receptor muscles, okay, or receptor neuron. Then it goes to the afferent sensory neurons, which carry the signals to the brain. Okay, it gave the signal to the brain or spinal cord. Okay, you can ask question why I write a brain here, because these are the reflexes mainly related to the spinal cord. I will explain it later. Now, then when it goes to the signal by the brain or spinal cord goes to this efferent motor neuron. Okay, this is the you can say that just a brief structure of that structure which is given in your book. Okay, so you can understand it well if you go through it. Then it goes to the effector muscle, okay, which I told you, our gland, okay, which have to do response, okay, and according to it you respond. So some cranial reflexes are there. Okay, cranial reflexes provide pathways for reflexes utilizing the muscles of the head. Such as responses are called cranial reflexes. Okay, because all you can know that when involuntary closing of eyelids when cornea is stimulated. Okay, if you just hit your hand on your eyes, and gagging when back throat is irritating. If there is any irritation in your throat, okay, so you start gagging, okay, or coughing. So this is the reflexes is done by our brain, okay, cranial nerves. So that's why it is called as the cranial reflexes also there. So that's why I'm writing here brain also. So question I will ask you in later.